हरे कृष्ण। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणि चारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा. So there is one story of one sage. He has many disciples. One of the name was Suparna, and he was practicing very nicely, but he wanted diksha. It is the sageness prachada. What happens is he was among one of the students, and he was very talented. He studied all Vedas. He knows everything well. He kept following his teacher all the time, and he demanded, give me Diksha, Mahadiksha." Because Diksha is a special mantra that is given. It was in previous ages. The mantras were secret. So that in the end, all the knowledge was revealed to him. That's what he wanted. Sometimes devotees also demand for Dikshas in ISKCON. But here he said, I already completed everything. I'm surrendered. So you have to give me. Now the Guru, he understands that yes, Suparna is begging and is asking. He said he wanted to test him, although he knows that he is not ready to gain knowledge, because knowledge comes with proper state of mind. That is very important. The knowledge is proportionate to the state of consciousness we have. To the degree we are humble and grateful, to the degree to we will be able to easily gain knowledge. We can gain information, but not that the real knowledge. It is not possible to gain because the fruitive mentality is still there. That is not actually what is the request. That is the blocking for gaining knowledge. Like, I want to know more and more information, more and more these things, more and more that things. That is not actually will work. We need to take shelter of it. Then we'll gain it. Like if we are doing kirtan, you will not get any information there. It is same mantra. And do kirtan for long, long, long hours. There, there is no fruitive mentality. And especially if we are not leading the kirtan, we are just following the kirtan. That is much more safer. There is no fruitive mentality, and we are just for the pleasure of Lord. We are doing the kirtan. That's why we gain more advancement. Especially people who are like me, who are more interested in knowing information. It's not a spiritual, mm, it's spiritual activity, but the fruitive mentality is also still there, that I want to know about this also, about that also. It is not wrong, but there is a there, instead of taking shelter, we are trying to gain knowledge. So that is a difference. We need to understand that it's not wrong to gain knowledge, but we should know the purpose behind it. The attitude should be very clean. But initially, because that we have come from that background where everything is done for a purpose. Now, when we sit for class, and that's we choose our speakers also, right? Because from here I gain maximum knowledge. That is, I'm not telling it is wrong. My point is that we should give up that fruitive mentality at one stage. I said, it is Krishna Katha, I want to hear. And whoever is giving Krishna Katha, it is so satisfying the heart because he's speaking about Krishna. That is where we should come to a stage. After some time, knowledge is there, we want to know. We are very happy to know about Krishna. But even somebody comes and he's speaking, which may not have so much information, but we have to see the devotional part in it. and we need to we feel so happy that he's speaking about Krishna. Whatever whatever he's speaking, we may know the story again. That's why we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to Gadadhar Pandit and hearing the same pastime of Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj. And again they are hearing the same thing. Now we may say, what a boring session it must be. You already know, and you know all the shlokas, all the meaning, all the commentaries of all acharyas are there. And again, how can we take it? Because there is certain rasa, there is some shelter they take. They feel that this is what is very helpful for me. And taking shelter is like we it gives them nourishment. They are trying to even I am also not like sometimes when our spiritual master is giving class, we feel we have heard that lecture again, we have heard that lecture, and he is going to speak the same things. I know what he's going to speak if he's speaking this pastime. But still, we feel some sort of shelter in that lecture when we sit and hear the same instructions. It is very comforting the heart. It says, why I should need all these things? I just need Krishna only. So we start feeling that shelter in that lecture, and we want to give up this material enjoyment and be at his lotus feet. So this is how we take shelter. So here, this is very important. Like kirtan and all, that is the advantage. If we are not leading and just following 2, 2, 3 hours, if we are able to sit and just sing kirtan, we don't get anything from that as such materially. It's complete spiritual. So, and if the tune is same, then there is no pleasure in the music also. Initially, people are attracted to the music, but after some time, if the same tune is sung for 2, 3 hours, then it is even not material. We are just relishing the holy name, and that is actually what is needed. So, and Krishna Katha also, we start enjoying in a different level. It's not just the information that is pleasing. And so here, people they come, they have this fruito mentality. I have done it. I need to get something in return. And we need to come out of that slowly, that fruito mentality, which is very, very helpful to progress. It is actually, we may say, pro fruito mentality, nishkam karma yoga. Yes, but we need to be beyond that. That's why we need to give up that mentality. And here, Suparna, he was begging for a diksha, and his guru understood that he's not actually fit. And he wanted to show him what he's good for. And at one point, one beggar comes to the ashram and he begs for something. Guru says, okay, give me your bowl. He was having an iron bowl. He takes the bowl from the beggar. He goes inside and makes it an iron bowl and bring it to. Then in front of Suparna only, he was doing all these things. And then this beggar, he took the bowl. He was completely surprised. He thought they would take it back again. He thought they will give some handful of rice, but he gave me a golden bowl. He ran and then returned and said thank you. And then he got scared. Then he ran away. They might take it back. And Suparna said, "Oh my dear Guru, I know that you are a great teacher, but I was not knowing that you are a yogi also, and you know a lot of things. And you have transferred the iron into gold." And then Guru says, "No, no, no. Actually, I have a philosopher's stone. This is Chintamani. That's why I could do. And it's not because of some special mantras. I just touched the stone and it turned into gold." And Suparna he started scratching his head and he went to mm, ashram and he went to the bed. He could not sleep. He was turning around and he was thinking, I wish I should also have the stone. Then I will make the whole world into Krishna conscious. Then then people will stand in line and they will take diksha from me. And then he thought, but what about my Mahadiksha? Then he thought, let me go and ask my guru to give me the stone. Then he thought, what about Mahadiksha? He wanted to take Mahadiksha also. Then he said, yeah, both are possible. I'll take that also, this also. Then he said, how can I ask Guru? I said, no problem. So next day morning he goes and he asked, my dear Guru, and I want Diksha also, but not only Diksha, I want that stone also. And then Guru said, oh, uh, then okay. But Guru said, it seems to me that you are still not quite ready for the world because you lived in a isolated conditions far from the world and do not really know the people. So, and people outside are very cruel. I think you need to know the people little first. And let us go for 2 weeks for a travel. And then after that, you come back, we'll see how to do it. And everything from which people live, you will see. And I will also, this will be my last lesson for you. Then you will receive what all I promised you. And Supernova said, is, of course, we went. And they started going, they went for they began go from one village to another, and every village, the Prakeda Muni, he started giving his sermons. And one who actually, Prakeda means one who distinguishes matter from spirit. And he began his lecture about his philosopher's stone only, Chintamani. And he used to tell that if I touch with iron, it becomes gold. And then somewhere he showed about the stone and then the owner of the stone, he will not be afraid of illness. He will be always healthy and all these things he started telling. And people just lined up for questions. And all the questions were of same nature uh, of specific nature because they were asking, okay, where did you get the stone? Is there a second stone available like that? And different people came up and brought and gave him some gifts, and some brought iron and asked in case if he can change them. And Suparna looked at all these things, how people grow, how people are no, very greedy and all these things. And all people asked, and some they were people they were ready to they were asking him, can you give this stone? And the sage said, no, 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 no. And Suparna thought, yes, my spiritual master, what a spiritual master. He loves me so much. He is going to give me only. He does not trust anyone. He really loves me, and his attachment to his guru also started growing day by day. And then after that, he returned to the ashram. And then he asked Suparna, okay, tell me, what did you learn? Because it was our lesson, so I teached you. And Suparna said, yeah, yeah, I understood people. I realized that all people are pretenders. They come and they only need anything, something from you. And in order to get, they are ready to do anything. And Guru said, yes, you are correct, Les. He says, please tell me, what do you remember? He said, yeah, I know. I saw one peasant. This man, he was famous for donations, charity, he fed poor, and he used to do so many things. And then when he saw this gold, he just went and took all his scrap metal, all the metal, and he brought to you and said, no, give me some gold. And he said, I saw one Pandit. He was very learned scholar. And he was ready to exchange all his books. He said, take all my books, exchange of this stone. And he said, one rich man, you see, he was ready to give his daughter also in exchange of stone. And then then he asked, okay, of all the people, can you tell me who is the most fallen? Then Siparna says, perhaps, yes, this Pandit, na, he offered his library manuscripts. I think he is the most fallen. Then the Guru says, but according to me, Suparna is the most fallen. It was like a thunderbolt struck him. He said, I thought my Guru, I am the most beloved servant of him, I am the closest, I am the dearest. And he explains everything to me and he tells me everything. And he is telling that I am the most fallen and I served him faithfully and he taught me Vedas. I asked him for Mahadiksha also. And why is he calling me the most fallen? Because Guru says ordinary people, they live for themselves and they have their own affairs, family, something else. But Suparna, you know the difference between matter and spirit, and at the same time, you think about some kind of this Chintamani. You know the difference. You know that you are the soul, and at the same time, your thoughts are always going towards this material thing. And for the sake of this philosopher's stones, you are ready to betray everything. And that's then the Suparna understood why he is the most fallen. Because the point here is Suparna means swift wings, the bird with beautiful feathers. This is actually a story about many of the people who are initial stage but who fly from one tree to another, who cannot stop at anything or attracted by the brilliance of external energy. And this was Krishna says, understand, if you understand that you are soul, and then why can't you act like that? We are soul, it cannot be otherwise. We are not some kind of mechanism. This is generally, we are not like a dead computer. It is programmed and it will act like that. No, we have consciousness means that I was created by God, and that means that I was created for a specific purpose. What is the purpose? We have to, the purpose is to surrender to Krishna. Everything will be fine with us once we do. Krishna is telling, do not worry, just surrender to me. All that you think is bad, it's actually, it's all good only. If someone seems, if something is seen bad, it is all done by me only, so that I help you to come out of this illusion. For the, this is what Krishna is trying to help. He is telling that all these stupid attachments are there because I am attached to this and I am trying to fight with these things. But Krishna, you cannot find happiness in that way. You'll continue to crawl through this world and nothing happens. Like there is a parable where a man who was dying and he was watching his life, and he began to complain to God. He said, my dear Lord, I saw that when he was walking along the shore and he was looking and he realized on the beach there were he was able to see the whole life and he saw that there were true tracks when he was walking, and in sometimes only one track was remaining. And he saw in the most difficult times of his life there is only one track, one chain of tracks, the pathway. And he understood the second track was God. Then he turned to God and said, how come? Now, when I was in good times, I am seeing two tracks. When bad times, there is one track. You left me when I was in difficulty. Lord said, no, no, no. I was actually holding you in my hands. Now, this is actually what Krishna is trying to do. Krishna is here. Krishna is in our heart. He only wants us to stop being fools. He says that everything is good. Do you want to find happiness? Yes, happiness exists. You want to return to a world where there will be no beginning, no end, there will be no death, it is eternal. Then he says, please come to me. And Krishna actually tells to Arjuna after speaking Bhagavad Gita, think over all this properly, and you should think very carefully about all it. Understand who you are and stop being afraid. You return to me. In the beginning, he's actually telling Arjuna, you are free to choose whatever you want, you do. Then he understood it is very difficult for Arjuna to think about it. Then Krishna says, okay, all right, just give up everything, surrender to me. So nobody has the right to deprive our freedom. The freedom of choice is there, but uh, because we are not confident about it, and And also we may make wrong choice. That's why Krishna is trying to help us, is directly telling. 1 minute. So he says nobody has right to deprive our freedom. And Krishna explains everything and he says, everything I told you is all true. But now I'll tell you the truest of all truths, the biggest secret. And because Krishna says, I trust you, I am not just God who is in your heart. I am more than God in your heart. That is, I am a person. I love you. I think about you all the time. Now you need to remember me and think about me. Manmana bhava madbhakto. And he pronounces these two famous verses in Bhagavad Gita and Manmana bhava madbhakto and Sarvadharman Parityatya. So this is actually most secret of all truth that exist. He says, think of me, surrender to me, become my devotee, do sacrifice, worship me, bow to me. If you will do this to me as an individual, then you will have nothing to fear. When Krishna says this, he understands that he has nothing more to say. And if you don't want to hear, if then what can he do? What happens is Krishna, uh, he again waits for our heart. He breaks down the castle we make, that we have built on the shore, and hope that someday we will. Krishna breaks it, thinking that we'll understand, but we want to make again. So now we have Krishna is trying again and again. He's giving chance again and again. If it is any normal, ordinary person, he would have lost his patience. Because he's Lord, he never loses patience. That's why he's trying again and again and again and giving us these opportunities. This is the difference. So he's breaking the plans we are making, and again we are trying to recreate. Again he breaks, again we recreate. Lord is hoping that we'll understand. That Baldev Devotion explains the highest compassion of God, the manifestation of highest compassion of God for all living beings. He reveals to us the purpose of our life. That is the compassion. He explains to us that we must do what he has told. Like we must do what we must do, why we are created, and that is surrender. And like this attachment is actually very strong, holding us. And knowing also people are doing mistake. And we are caught up in this fruitive mentality and hoping because we have our own definition for happiness. That is the problem. We have our own way of happiness, and Krishna's definition of happiness is different. And Krishna says, okay, my dear, do you really uh, you lack intelligence to understand that your will alone is not enough to do all the things. So it is all Krishna's that is happening. And that is actually very important, that we need to come to our senses. So this pastime of Vidra is also very helpful to understand how these great personalities teach us how we need to, from the beginning of our life, this understanding helps because we need to grow slowly to this level of understanding, which will make us progress in life. We'll just, this is a very important uh, pastime, very helpful pastime because after creating so much, one fine day you are kicked out. And Vidra is so blissful. He's telling, wow, this is so nice. I'm out now. So he's not regretting, he's not complaining, he's not in a victim mentality. Vidura is not a victim mentality in spite of losing everything, because he already has that state of mind. And that is what happens to many people when they are leaving their body. They become victims. They say, I'm losing everything. So they become little, who lived piously, they may not be able, they are not so much worried. They said, okay, now we are going. But for somebody who is attached, it's really very dangerous. So Vidra, he began to travel alone. Now we say travel alone. What about your social securities and what about your health insurance? What about your other insurances and what about your sick? All these things is not needed. Security is Krishna. That is the highest security. What if we need to be practical, right? What about if I become sick? Who will take care of me? Who will admit me in the hospital? Yes, that is all done by Krishna only. Why I should become a burden to others? I need to keep my own insurance. I need to have my own house. If I just do like that, I'll become burden for others. And if we are really depending on Krishna, we'll not become burden to anyone. Krishna will take care. And only we need to give up sense gratification. That is the criteria. If we are not enjoying this world, then we are not burdened to anyone. Krishna is ready to take care. Yogakshema Mahamyam is Krishna. Where the trouble comes is when I want to enjoy, then only there is burden. If I don't want to enjoy, I am never burdened to anyone, because Krishna is ready to take care. Then you don't need much, because you don't need to enjoy only. This is where we need all the securities. Why we need all these insurances, securities, and all? Because still there is a desire to enjoy. There is no. We need. We also for brahmacharis also we also take health insurance. But the point here, what I am telling is, the burden is when we want to enjoy. Some basics we are taking insurance for brahmacharis also, because some the basic needs are we are just keeping minimum because the present society is like that. But otherwise, it is all very simple. Yeah, yeah, this is very important point. We have to come out of our comfort zone. Yes, I was also thinking yesterday, so much comfort zone. I wanted to, yesterday night only I was thinking about this comfort zone. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, here he began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura. He traveled where the air, hill, orchards, rivers, and lakes are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorated the temples. Thus, he performed the pilgrimage progress. Rating the Archa form of Lord may be considered ideals by the atheists, but that does not matter for persons like Vidra or his many other servants. The form of Lord are mentioned here as Ananda Linga. Such forms are Lord of have unlimited potency, the same as the Lord of Lord himself. Yesterday we read, but I'm just wanted to take this. There is no difference between the potencies of Archa and those of the personal form of the Lord. The example of a post box and post office may be applied here. The little post box is distributed all over the city has the same potency as the postal system in general. The duty of post office is to carry letters from one place to another. If one puts letters in the post boxes authorized by the general post office, the function of carrying letters is performed without a doubt. Similarly, the Archamurti can also deliver the same unlimited potency of Lord as when he is personally present. Vidra, therefore, could see nothing but Krishna in different Archa forms, and ultimately he was able to realize Krishna alone and nothing else. Yeah, Prahlad Maharaj says, as soon as one want to be happy in this world, misery comes. Yes. And गाम पर्यटन में यद्य विविक्त वृत्ति सदा प्लुतोऽधिशनो विदूत अलक्षितस्वैरवधूतवेषो Vratani Chairharitoshanani. He says, while so traveling there, he simply performed duty to please the Supreme Lord Hari. His occupation was pure and independent. He was constantly sanctified by taking his bath in holy places, although he was in the dress of a mendicant and has no hair dressing nor a bed on which to lie. Thus, he was always unseen by various relatives. Purport. The first and foremost duty of a pilgrim is to satisfy the Supreme Lord Hari. While traveling as a pilgrim, one should not be worried about pleasing society. There is no need to depend on social formalities or occupations or dress. One should remain always absorbed in the function of pleasing the Lord. Thus, sanctified by thoughts and actions, one is able to realize the Supreme Lord by the process of pilgrim's journey. Very important. Only duties to please the Supreme Lord. And one should not worry about pleasing society. We are also in a pilgrimage, so always we should please Supreme Lord. Don't worry about pilgrimage. Don't worry about society. We should not be so much bothered or how people think if I put tilak and go outside, if I wear kantimala and outside, if I wear dhoti kurta. No, people are doing sinful activities publicly and they are shameless. They they drink in public, they eat non-veg in public, they do smoking and they do all nonsense in public, and they are very bold about it. Even though they are royally going to hell by doing all these things, they are so bold about it. And we are doing some nice activity, applying tilak on forehead, putting kantimala, wearing dhoti kurta, putting a shika and chanting. We should be much more bolder to make them understand that they are doing wrong. And in that way, if you boldly do, whoever is bold enough, they'll create an impression. So we should be so bold that they should start thinking, are we doing right? Otherwise, they think that is the right thing. If you don't show what is right. And it is what they are not, they everybody's supposed to do. They have to have a bead bag, shika, tilak, kantimala, and proper Vaishnava dress. Finish. This is very, very, we should not please our relatives' friends. We should please Krishna. They need to accept it that this is what is truth. And we should be very, very confident and bold in this direction, especially with we need to, and when it comes to taking food, we should be very clear. We said, we don't take which is not offered. Any functions, any public places, we should be very, very bold. We should tell this is not, I will not eat. It says onion garlic, it is not offered, it is not prasadam, we are not eating. This also should be very clear to people. They will criticize, but that is still we have to stand for it. Then what happens? They will understand that yes, something what we are doing is wrong. Otherwise, if you are flowing with them, then they will say, okay, not no difference. No, no, no prasadam. We will not eat outside. Any functions, you tell before only. I am not going to eat. I'll come, give a gift. Maybe I'll take some at the best fruits and go out. This is should be the standard. Why? Not for because our duty is to satisfy the Supreme Lord only. We should not satisfy them. We should not be worried about pleasing society. There is no need to depend on social formalities or occupation or dress. We should depend on Krishna. Very, very like when we are doing in an official office level and all, there we need to wear official dresses and we should be little formal. We cannot be like that. But otherwise, no need. Social functions and all, no need. One should remain always absorbed in functions of pleasing the Lord. That's all. Thus, sanctified by thoughts and actions, one is able to realize the Supreme Lord. If we are not doing, we are compromising, then the results won't come so fast. No need to compromise. We can just because this is right thing we are doing now. Why Prabhupada was going to America, some of the people said, Swamiji, you should start eating from you should wear pant and shirt, start eating with a knife and fork and all, spoon and fork. Prabhupada said, I am not going to learn what they are doing. I am going to teach what is right. So for us also the same thing. We do not need to behave like them. We need to teach them what is right. then it will help them. It will help everyone, us also and them also. Some of them who are sincere in them, they will come to our direction. Otherwise, why we have to go and do what they are doing nonsense? Mm. We may say we want to please them. No need. No need to please. They have to please us because we are pleasing Krishna. Yeah, it looks little very harsh, but it is what is the standard to help them and to us. It is not my standard. It is Vidra's standard and proper standard. So that's why I'm telling. इत्थं व्रजन् भारतं एव वर्षं कालेन यावत् गतवान् प्रभासम् वाचाश कृष्णम् एकचक्राम् एकात्पत्रम् कृताम् अजितेन प्राता. He says thus when he was in the land of Bharatavarsha traveling to all the places of pilgrimage, he visited Prabhakshatra. At that time, Maharaj Yudhishthira was the emperor and held the world under one military strength and one flag. Purport. More than 5,000 years ago, while Saint Vidra was traveling the earth as a pilgrimage, India was known as Bharatavarsha, as it is known even today. The history of world cannot give any systematic account for more than 3,000 years into the past, but before that the whole world was under the flag and military strength of Maharaj Yudhishthir, who was the emperor of the world. At present, there are hundreds and thousands of flags flopping in United Nations, but during the time of Vidura, there was, by the grace of Ajita, Lord Krishna, only one flag. The nation of world were very eager to again have one state under one flag, but for they must seek the favor of Lord Krishna, who alone can help us become one worldwide nation. So people now they form unions like European Union. They want to be under one thing. But the center of that is economic development. It is not Krishna. That's why it is not going to survive. That's why some of the countries come out of the European Union. Some want to join, some want to come out because it won't work because it's all selfish economic development. That's why it is not working. If it is a for a higher cause dharma, it may survive. Otherwise, it won't survive. That is the point. And it happens, Prabhupada is very clearly telling, by the grace of Ajita, only one flag. The European Union want to survive. And there is other unions like all these oil nations, they also have one union. I forgot the name. So like that, now there is Southeast Asian countries union. There is SARC. And there is also mm, there are different countries, different unions like that. And but it won't work because the Ajita blessings of Lord are not there. It is not for the pleasure of Lord. And Commonwealth nations are there. Commonwealth nations are all the countries which are ruled by Britain. They all came together and they formed one. So it's all not going to work. I'm not telling it is wrong. They're trying something to come on some front for some purpose, but it won't work. तत्राशुष्वा विनिष्टितं वनं यथा वेणुज वनैः स्पृशायम् सम्पृष्ठया दग्धमथानुशोचन् सरस्वतीं पृथक् इव या तूषणीम्. He says, at the place of pilgrimage Prabhas, it came to his knowledge that all his relatives had died due to violent passion, just as an entire forest burns due to forest produced by the friction of bamboos. After this, he proceeded to where the river Saraswati flows west. Now, here the point is that The time the people's state of consciousness was very high. So because of which, what happens is their emotions are also mm, very high, and they can experience the great emotions which are not there in Kali Yuga now. That's why we see that when they hear the news the husband is dead, immediately the wife leaves the body. I know you say, how is it possible? Because the people's quality was like that. Now it is not possible because we are not of that quality. Here, Vidra, when he heard, it really actually made him experience some pain. But they also have other aspect. They're very advanced in their consciousness. So it's not that okay, now relatives gone. Now people when they hear the news that relatives are gone, not much difference come. They say, okay, I may not be able to go now. I'll have to go to my office. We'll see. Maybe I have to go for 10th day or 13th day and just go there as some formality and very close person they will little cry and forget about it. That really does not touch now. Some relatives go, my mother calls and says, "Hey, you have to keep distance now. You are in a contamination period because he's our relative. He died." I said, and I don't feel only for him. I don't know. I never met him. So many. So this is actually what is the state of present. There is no strong relation between relatives now, and I hardly met some of my relatives. Maybe I can count how many times I met in my life. Some of the relatives, I did not meet some of them from 20 years also. So that is not a big thing now. But it's not like that. They had very close bond, and they are able to give it up. So this is the difference. They experience that being with relatives, what is the pleasure of? Nowadays they fight only so much. They don't want to see each other's face also. They say, even if I die, don't come. They directly tell on the face. So the relations are not very strong. That time it was really very close and they used to experience. So how the system was, you have to experience it and then give it up. Now people don't even experience only. What is the question? Okay. Like if I say you renounce this Mercedes car, I say I don't have only. So what is the problem? I can renounce. So our renunciation, we feel like Prabhupada, where he went, the hippies he saw, he said you are already renounced. Now you add Krishna in your life. So Kali Yuga renunciation is a little different because we are happy with our mobile and our room where we can sit and enjoy with our mobile. So in that way, we say I already detached from family. Brother, mother, father, I am already detached. My mobile is sufficient for me. But that is not the way of detachment. You have to go through the experience and then give it up. Then what happens? All the vasanas, the desires for that sort of enjoyment are burnt. Then you will make advancement. Otherwise, it won't happen like that. Anyway, so here both the Kauravas and Yadavas are relatives of Vidura, and Vidura heard of their extension extension due to fratricidal war. The comparison of the fraction of forest bamboos to that of the passionate human society is appropriate. The whole world is compared to a forest, and at any moment there may be a flare up of fire in the forest due to fractions. No one goes to the forest to set it on fire, but due only to fraction between bamboo, fire takes place and burns the entire forest. Similarly, in the great forest of worldly transaction, the fire of war takes place because of violent passion of the conditioned souls, illusioned by external energy. Such a worldly fire can be extinguished only by water of mercy, clouds of saints, just as a forest fire can be extinguished only by rains falling from a cloud. So we used to in childhood we used to live in a place where we used to regularly see forest fires. So that every summer there is common. It comes. So in the our lives also is also going to happen all the time. तस्यान्तीर्थसयोषणसोमनश्च क्रतोर्अघा अथाग्नेरसितस्य वायो तीर्थं सुदासस्य गवां गुहस्य यच्चाद्देवस्य च स आशिषेष्वे. This is on the bank of the river Saraswati. There were 11 places of pilgrimage, namely Tirtha, Ushna, Anu, Kratu, Agni, Ashta, Vayu, Sudasa, Go, Guha, Sadadeva. Vidura visited all of them and duly performed rituals. अनानि चेद्दिव्यदेवदेवै कृतानि नान्यातनानि विष्णु प्रत्यङ्गमुख्यान्तिकमन्दिराणि यद्दर्शनात् कृष्णम् अनुस्मरन्ति. There are also many other temples of various forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu established by great sages and demigods. These temples are marked with the chief emblem of Lord and they remind one always of the original personality of Godhead Lord Vishnu. Just read this one purport. Human society is divided into four social orders of life and four spiritual divisions applying to each and every individual person. This system is called Varnashram Dharma and has already been discussed in many places in this great literature. The sages are persons who completely devoted themselves to the spiritual upliftment and entire society are known as Dvija Deva, the best among the twice born. The denizens of superior planets from the moon planet and upward are known as Devas. Both the Dvija Devas and Devas always established temples of Lord Vishnu in various forms such as Govinda, Madhusudana, Narasimha, Madhava, Keshava, Narayana, Padmanabha, Parthasarathi, and many others. The Lord expands himself in innumerable forms, but all of them are non-different from one another. Lord Vishnu has four hands and each hand holds a particular item, either a conch shell, wheel, club, or lotus flower. Of these four emblems, the chakra, the wheel, is the chief. Lord Krishna, being the original Vishnu form, has only one emblem, namely the wheel, and therefore he is sometimes called the Chakri. The Lord's chakra is the symbol of power by which Lord controls the whole manifestation. The tops of Vishnu temples are marked with the symbol of the wheel so that the people may have the chance to see the symbol from the very long distance and at once remember Lord Krishna. The purpose of building very high temples is to give people a chance to see them from a distant place. This system is carried on in India whenever a new temple is constructed and it appears that it is coming down from a time before recorded history. The foolish propaganda by atheists that the temples were constructed only in later days is refuted here because Vidura visited these temples at least 5000 years ago and the temples of Vishnu were in existence long before Vidura visited them. The great sages and demigods never established statues of men or demigods, but they established temples of Vishnu for the benefit of common men to raise them to the platform of God consciousness. This is very important because deity worship, these all temples are made in Dwapara Yuga only. So that is so the question is Narada Muni gave self-realization to sons of Daksha before only not going through all the experience. So what qualities did Narada Muni saw in them? Yeah. So what happens is some people they are qualified because their vasanas are already burnt. Then they need not go through it. And what happens is some person is free from all these vasanas, and if that time he gets association of devotees, then he is out. But he does not get experience association of devotees and is free from vasanas, then he goes and lives in a very detached way, and he may end up with liberation. That's what is the plan of Vidura. Sorry, that is the plan of Daksha. That you properly train, make them properly qualified, free from all these unwanted vasanas, and only focus on progeny and following dharma, doing proper rituals. So for that also you need purity. So that is the process that is followed. Purity is followed everywhere. But Narada Muni, in that situation, if we get association of a devotee, then we are saved. As such, qualification is no qualification. They are not. Nobody is qualified. It is mercy of Narada Muni that made them qualified. Uh, Qualification is now we are all not qualified, but Prabhupada's mercy we are all practicing. So like that, the mercy of a devotee is the only qualification for any living entity. If we are pure, that helps us in practice very easily. Say if a person is having very bad qualities and he gets association of devotees, for him to practice bhakti also is very great struggle. But if person is already pure, for him to practice becomes very easy. The qualification for them was Narada Muni's mercy. If we have mercy of Narada Muni, then it is easy. So what about the vasanas and all? By practice, they could have gone to home, get married, and practice bhakti also. But because they already achieved certain state of freeing from the vasanas, then they don't. They thought it is not needed. Now we need not go back. We can continue from here. Okay. Thank you all very much. Antara.